So you want to be OP? Well, as usual, I am here to help. So this time we are playing Vandal Hearts 2. I wanted to just go over a few things now. I'm at the very end of the game. I've already really discovered everything. And I kind of just want to share the things, well, I guess, how I'm set up. And why I think it's really good. I would honestly say that one of the bigger things towards the end of the game is you need to have somebody that can deal out a lot of damage in one turn. And like the reason for that is a lot of the bosses, I'll call them bosses, have ways that restore their health every turn, and we make use of those same tactics. That is the recover mark. Now, recover mark restores 15 HP, but it's per turn, and so you'll restore that HP at the beginning of every turn. Now, the catch is, or the key about these is they stack. So you can stack up. I think the shield, there's only a 5-slot shields. I don't think there's ever any. Let me just check here. I'm pretty sure there's no 6-slot shields. Yeah, 5 is the best you can get. So keep that in mind, and like I said, they stack, so you can restore, I think, what is it, 70? Yeah, you can restore 75 HP in a single turn just by having all those stacked up. Now, the other thing is here, this is called the textbook. The textbook is a special type weapon, and it is a 6-slot. It is the only 6-slot special weapon in the game, and you can put the Brawler ability on it. Brawler, you'll get, they're called urns. They all come on the special weapon called the urn. This is the urn here. There are 6 of them in the game. So you want to collect them all, and then once you've learned the Brawler ability, you want to take it off and put it onto the textbook, so you will stack, you'll have a 6 stack. And Brawler is a weird ability. It's a lot like the recovery mark, where it basically stacks, and it's the only skill that does that as far as I know. So like, you know, having multiple stacks of, let's just say, like an attack skill, like I mean, I don't know, what's a good one here? Let me see. Jesus. Like double strike off of the swords. Those don't stack. Like, the amount of damage that's dealt by double strike doesn't go up based on how many instances of double strike you have on the weapon. Again, as far as I know, that only happens with the Brawler ability. And towards the end of the game, if you've got 6 of these stacked up, your character just keeps punching for like 20 seconds straight, and then the damage is finally dealt. Now, I was doing over 200 damage with this one ability, and as far as I know, it's the hardest hitting ability in the entire game if you've got it stacked up like that. So that's my take on that. I had 2 characters that used the flight type armor. One was was Pike. I had Pike equipped with flight armor basically from as early as I could until the end of the game, and then I had a dagger equipped with him, and I had the unlock skill the whole game, and then search mark. Search mark is what allows you to find items underfoot. Unlocks chests. So, and then I usually had some sort of movement increasing accessory on him as well. So like right now his movement is at 9. So he can cover a lot of ground. He didn't do much fighting the whole game, but I found that was a good enough trade-off for somebody that had really, really high movement and could basically collect all the treasures. And I loved it. The other way that I had him set up, though, was I had a special weapon on him so that he could use, and here I think it's on the gold bat, was block make. You'll get that very early on in the game, and it does exactly what it says here. You can make blocks with it, and there's a lot of stuff that's out of reach initially. And so you'll have to put blocks down in order to get there, and block make it does exactly that. So this is the way I had Pike set up the whole game, really, was, you know, so that he could move really far and unlock things, discover things underfoot, and make blocks. It was a great setup. I loved it. Again, you know, the main character, Brawler, you can really put that on anybody, but I put it on the main character. Now, basically everybody else, what I would recommend doing is basically just making everybody a caster in some form or another, and then equipping them with robes. Robes have by far the most magic on them. That is the reason why the robes are so good. You know, lighter armor does have an okay amount of MP, but nowhere near what a robe does. Even like some of the best robes in the, or some of the best light armors in the game, you'll only end at like, it's somewhere around 50, maybe 60 MP. So you just can't do much with those. Whereas these robes have like whatever, like it's probably like 100. It's 180. So do that, and then I would just say basically have good like a decent rod on everybody, because they've got some really good spells like Exodus, for instance. Now, and then take a look at that MP cost, 85. So obviously you're going to need a lot of MP to cast it, and then a lot of MP to cast it multiple times. So keep that in mind. That's what I would say is really good. Now, you'll notice, though, I have Vlad equipped with the Jewel here. The Jewel is actually kind of a mid-range dagger, but it's got a lot of slots on it, and you get it. You get one of them about midway through the game, but the real thing that makes it good is the remove ability. Remove lets you basically take one of your characters and give them another turn, essentially. And so, if Vlad casts, let's just say I take the hero out and I use Brawler on somebody, then I cast Remove from Vlad onto the main character, boom, he gets another turn back to back. So you can put a lot of hurt down on somebody all in one turn. Those are amazing. There's 2 of them in the game, and so I equipped Vlad with one of them, and I think Guilty had the other one. I left it on the Jewel. Again, you don't actually need to do that. You can move that ability off. It's just, that dagger itself was very recognizable, and so when I was looking for somebody to use the remove ability, I just looked for the jewels, right? And on top of that, the person that is using remove on somebody else typically isn't ever going to attack, right? You're literally just giving your turn to somebody else, and so it doesn't really matter what dagger they had equipped anyway. To go along with that, obviously a robe, again, because you can cast, or you can just, it gives you so much MP. So really, these guys are used to give their turns to somebody else that is really a damage dealer. Lyra here was my tank for most of the game. She's got the beacon. The beacon doesn't always work, but in most cases, the character that has this becomes the target of enemies. Again, there are some exceptions, and the enemies sometimes will make other decisions, but for the most part, they'll attack whoever has this. Now, why is that so good? Well, a tank with basically somebody with a beacon with a skull shield, or well, any type of shield that's got recovery marks, the enemies will focus on them, and then you'll be healed for free every turn. So as long as you don't take too much damage and get killed off in one turn, you'll obviously restore a ton of that health. Now, I also had the Gradius. Now, the Gradius, I don't know what the actual trigger is for this. My understanding was that it was like another game if you had another game file saved on your memory card, and I don't know what game it was, but the thought was that one of those other games may have triggered this. I kind of actually, that could be the case, and it kind of makes sense because when I had a file with the ability to buy the Gradius, it was just another file that was on that memory card, and when I started a new game, the Gradius was in the shop. So it has to be something to do with your something on your memory card. Now, if you don't have that option, play on an emulator, which is what I did, and then I took a save that I found online, by the way, on the GameFAQs website, which is an amazing site. definitely check that out. And that is how I got the Gradius. Now, why is the Gradius good? Well, for one thing, it's got a really, really high attack at the beginning of the game. But also, and I pulled the ability off of it already, but it's got the Ripple Laser ability. Now, the range is 0 to 20 and a field of 6, meaning it's a huge AoE. And it's fairly cheap. It only costs 20 MP. At the beginning of the game with the crappier robes, you'll only be able to cast it a couple of times, but in those early battles, that's pretty much all you need to do, and you will wipe out everything. So that is an amazing skill, an amazing weapon, lasts you for a very long time. And that's really, it's basically game breaking. I mean, it's to that point. Like, if there is one thing that I can suggest to make yourself overpowered, it's to have that Gradius and then have a robe equipped so that you can cast that multiple times. That is the best thing to do. Eventually here, though, I did get this A magic. It's a heavy armor type, so it's got really good HP, but it also gives you 120 mana as well. It's weak, though. It's got elemental weaknesses, but paired up with the Gradius, I was able to annihilate basically everything before it got to me, so keep that in mind. Plateau was my caster for most of the game. Again, I think he's amazing. Well, I mean, anybody is amazing with a staff and AoEing. So I would say if you don't have access to the Gradius or you don't want to cheese the game, just make a bunch of casters. The reason for that also is you cannot be blocked with magic. Now, there are elemental weaknesses and elemental, well, or like elemental resistances. But to overcome that, you can put multiple different types of spells on your staffs. So you can have a staff that is like got an evil component, a wind component, and then like an ice. And then your other one, because you can't have opposing spells on the same weapon. So if you've got, let's say you've got a fire, lightning, holy staff, you can dual wield another staff that's got ice, wind, and like evil or shadow, whatever. If you want to do that, which is what I did with Plateau for a lot of the game. I had him dual wielding staves. And then on top of that, you can have healing spells on your staves as well. So you can have a very offensive caster as well as a healer. Again, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed that setup. And then obviously a robe. Guilty was my other remove character caster. Maria here at the end of the game, I used the coffin on her. Now, for most of the game, you don't have the coffin. You don't get the coffin until very, very late in the game. But the coffin has a 99 range, meaning you can attack, you just have infinite range, right? So as long as you can move her a decent amount, you can hit pretty much anybody on the map. Now, you can equip a flight set for a while until you get this armor. The L Mac, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but this armor unfortunately only has 1 HP, meaning if you get looked at, you die. But it's got a movement of 30. So she is just a walking cannon, basically. And my movement there ended up at 29. Now, the coffin reduces your movement by 5. So you either need to have like a flight type armor on her or these accessories that boost up her movement, like runners goes as +1 and caster +3. So a great setup. I really liked that. And that's great for finishing people off. Otherwise, the other thing that you can do with her is the same thing with really anybody else. You can cast remove on her a bunch of times and just hammer people from almost anywhere. So, great setup. Agris. Let's take a look at her. I had her at the end of the game as somebody that was basically just giving MP to Lyra. Lyra was my laser caster. The other thing is you can get this Entruster ability on your shields. That Entruster ability comes from the Hoplon. The Hoplon are about 75% of the way through the game, unfortunately. Maybe not that far, but it's pretty deep into the game when you finally start to get those. And that is another way to give somebody else your turn. It's fantastic. So I had that on her, and then I had Entrust Her. Actually, I ended up having that on Preto, was the other one. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you're one character like Lyra, and I'll just show you. Let's just go into battle here so I can actually show you guys this setup. Now, if you watched my walkthrough or if you've seen any bit of it, you probably will either recognize this strategy in effect, or I guess if this is your first time, well, congratulations. You're about to see what it's all about and why this setup is so strong. So basically what we're doing here is we're making Lyra kind of do all the work. So I'm going to put her up front. I'm going to put my Entrusters right next to her. Now, Entrust only works if you're right next to the target, whereas Remove you can cast from really far away. So let's just set her up like that, and I'm not even going to bother with anybody else. So here we go. I'll just keep her here so that you guys can see this. But I'm going to go to Tech. I'm going to go to Ripple Laser. Now look at the distance on this, and the effect range is just massive. Now, obviously I can't hit everything right away, but basically we're going to wipe out groups of enemies at a time. So I'm going to cast this. I'm going to speed this up too so that it's going to look a little bit goofy because the animation's a little long on this, but you can kind of see there. So it does 100 damage every time you use it. Now, okay, well, so I did 100 damage. So what, right? Okay, well, now let's go to Entrust Her, and we'll give her, basically we're giving her Agris's turn here. And there we go. Again, Entrust Her, you have to be right next to her, or right next to the person that you want to give your turn to. So it's a little bit limited, but it's going to work out fine. So let's speed this up again. 100 damage across the board. Now we'll do it one more time using Preto here. He can cast that 17 times, which is, I guess, a little bit ridiculous, but it is the end of the game. So that is why they've got so much mana. Now, there we go. So there's the first 3 dead. Now we get into the a little bit more interesting stuff here. So here's the remove ability. Now look at that. I can use this. I mean, the range on this is amazing. But it does the same thing. It gives your turn to another character. Now, so let's just say that whatever, Preto is way over here or something, or Lyra gets way out above or in front of people, and like Preto can't get to her to give her his turn. Okay, right? Like, hopefully you're following me with that, but because of Entrust Her's small range. Well, what you can do is basically give Preto a turn with Vlad so that he can move into range, right? And then and just go from there. And then again give that turn then from Preto over to Lyra. So it's basically a way that you can kind of get around the map really quickly as well as do a bunch of damage. So again, I think it's great. I love it. The one thing that you'll notice, though, is, okay, well, now what, right? I'm getting low on MP. I can actually only cast laser 2 more times. Okay, so what do I do then? Okay, well, that's where the dagger comes in with the MP transfer ability. Now, there are 2 ways to transfer your MP from your characters to somebody else that you want. One is with the dagger MP transfer. There is also an item called the Spatula, which is a special item that has the ability MP Gift. MP Gift is actually better than MP Transfer because it has really good range. MP Transfer, again, like Entrust Her, you need to be right next to the character. So I'll just show you that now. So there you go. So see, you have to be literally right up next to her. So So anyways, that is one way to do that. And the other thing that you can do actually is the you can MP slash, so you can take the MP away from somebody else. Now, I'm actually gonna do that right now because I want to see how much that takes from somebody else. Because the other way, okay, let's just say, and now honestly, I'll be honest, I think that this is it's almost irrelevant because there's very few battles in the game where you just like completely run out of MP on everybody. But let's just say it happens. Well, you've got another ability on stabs called Magic Absorb. That comes from the Luna Staff, and that will take, I think it's 19 MP from your target and give it to you. So that's one way to do it. But I want to check MP slash here. So let's, I'm going to give that a shot. Actually, let's go behind Agris here to use this. I just don't remember if this is better than MP Absorb. Unfortunately, though, MP slash you have to be right up next to the person to use, whereas MP Absorb actually has some range. Wow. Okay, that did 108 damage. And it restored 21 MP. Okay, so it takes 21 MP. That's not that great. But it is what it is. And if you're trying to, you know, restore your MP, then that's one way to do it. Again, I actually think MP Absorb from the staff is better, though. This, although, to be fair, MP slash does damage as well, so that's great, too. But that's basically it. Again, it's really about, you know, giving whatever character's got, like, Ripple Laser, multiple turns. Now, I do want to show you guys, though, a stacked up Brawler. And again, I think that's the way to take down bosses specifically, because it just does so much damage. And so what you want to do with that strategy is wait until your boss, until you get the boss kind of comes up close to you, or you need to move to it. And then you take your hero or whoever has the Brawler, get up on them, and hit him with Brawler, and then give him more turns by using remove. So the last thing is I want to show you guys is the coffins. Obviously this character can move super far, but looks like everything is basically moved. So you line yourself up here, and then because it's got that 99 range, you can nail this stuff all the way on the opposite side. Now again, this is also great to use if you want to give that person your turns, because again, she can hit almost anything from anywhere. The other thing is, again, because of that armor that she's got on, she can move almost anywhere. So, all right. Anyways, I'm gonna end my turn here, and then show you the Brawler ability. So let's, I guess this guy is the one that's close. I'm worried that he's gonna move, so we'll just see here if he does. Nope, he didn't. Okay, so we're set. But again, I think that this ability, the Brawler ability, is one of the best ways to take down bosses in the entire game. And combine that with multiple characters that can use Remove, or Entruster. I think, you know, Remove is a little bit better, but Entruster, you know, is just a fantastic way to really, you know, put some pain on the bosses. And I'll show you the, like, Remove and Entruster combo and how that works really well with each other. Oh my god. Okay, so I gotta speed this up because that takes so long. 246. So that one-shot that guy. I think you can do like 288 damage in one turn with that. So, alright, so I'm going to show you this here, though. Now, Agris is not going to be able to get to the hero. I'll just show you, though. Right, with Entruster, right? Because we're too far away. So, what do? Okay, well, you bring your Remove character up here. Hit the main character with Remove. I'll speed this up. And he's going to get shot. Boom. Owie, that hurt. And then you move Agris up and use Entruster on Guilty. Almost just died there. That's okay. This is all about showing you how to be OP, not actually winning this battle. Alright, so now, I basically just, I guess, because, okay, it's like extending the range of Entruster, right? You use Entruster on your characters that can use Remove. And it makes it so that, you know, basically you can hit the main, well, whoever you want, with... You can give a single, your most powerful character five turns, basically, within one turn, if that makes sense. So, that is that. That's all of my tricks. That's how to be OP. Again, you know, make use of Remove and Entruster and stack up something with Brawlers because you will not be sorry. But also, use that laser. Honestly, it's the best. It is the best ability in the entire game. And the fact that it's relatively, yeah, at the beginning of the game it seems expensive, but at the end of the game it is very, very cheap for what is basically 100 damage on multiple targets. So that is it. That is how to be OP. Hope you like the guide, and I hope you join me for more. Thanks for watching.